In this video, I'm going to be sharing these 10 Revit mistakes that will get you fired, but more importantly, I'm going to be showing you how to avoid them. Let's go. Now quickly, before we jump into Revit, I would just like to ask you to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to link it up in the cards above and then also down in the description of this video. We are an Autodesk authorized training center and we offer over 150 hours of Revit training. It's definitely the best place to be if you want to master Revit. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into Revit. And here we are, and the tip number one is using in-place modeling when you don't need to. So here we have two sets of spiral stairs, and let's say we want to add a wall on the outside of this stair edge. Now the problem is when we try to do that, if I just go here to the floor plan view and then go to wall, I'm just going to pick out one of the walls that has a few layers, and then I'm just going to use pick lines, and the location line I'm going to set to the finish face exterior, pick this edge just like that, and there we go. Now when I go to the 3D view here, you can see it's going all the way up, but we can't really cut it to follow the bottom of the stair. If we go here to edit profile, it doesn't work because this is an arc wall, so we cannot use that feature. So what I see a lot of people do is what I'm going to show you on this example of this stair over here. So let's hide this thing for a second, and now let me show you what most people do. So I see people go here to model in place, and then they use walls. Let's say they're smart, they use the correct category. Okay, and then this can be done perhaps by using a swept blend. Then they would go to the floor plan view, sketch a path by using pick lines, so sketch the same outside path. Now here I'm just going to select it and move it in a little bit like so, and then in the 3D view I'm just going to double check that. So I just wanted to start here a little bit on the inside just so it doesn't fit on the actual edge. Okay, once we have that, I'm just going to hit finish, and then let's edit profile 1, click edit, and that's this profile here. So here we can just create that wall. Let's turn on 10 lines, and let's say this will be a 300 millimeter wall, and I'm going to start with something really small like this. There we go. Then hit finish, and then for profile 2, when you hit edit, you go on the other side, and then you create a rectangle like so, going all the way up, and you just make sure that it's 300 millimeters. You hit finish again, and there we go. We have a nice wall. When I hit finish, you can see the category for this thing is, let's see if I can select it. There we go. It's a wall, but this is actually the wrong approach. Now let's do it the right way. So what I'll do is I'm just going to reveal these hidden elements here. So just unhide this. Now for this wall, I'm just going to move it so it starts off here at the beginning of the stair. Here it ends at the correct place, so that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to be actually cutting this with an in-place component that's going to be a void. So I just go here to architecture, go to component, model in place, and then let's use the walls category. Click OK again, and now I'm just going to use a swept void blend, and then use pick path, pick this wall, and then hit finish. Go to profile 1, edit profile, and then for this one, I'll just create a rectangle going all the way up, like so. Then I'll hit finish, and then let's go to second profile, and for this one, I'll just create a rectangle that looks something like that. Hit finish again, so it's going to look like this, and then we just use the cut geometry to cut the wall with that void, and this is the result. So I'm just going to finish this. And there we go. This is the correct way. This is also the wall category, but now when we create a schedule, so if I go here to schedules, new schedule, go with the wall category. Okay, and here let's go with area, we can go with family and type, we can go with perhaps the width, the volume, and then we can use some thermal parameters as well. Now when we create this schedule, what you can notice is that For this wall, we have all of this information. So we have the width, we have the correct family, we have the volume, we have the thermal resistance, and so on. Whereas for the other one, which is this one, you can see we don't have the width, we don't have the thermal resistance, the thermal mass, and so on. So a lot of information is lost simply by using that generic wall. By using a regular wall and then just cutting it with an in-place mass, that's how we retain all of those parameters while still getting the shape that we want. Now let's move forward to mistake number 2 that will get you fired, and that's not properly joining elements. So here we have our project 2. I'm just going to open up this section, and you can see in this section everything looks perfect. If I turn off the thin lines, you can see everything is joined together properly. This beam has been joined with this floor, this wall has been joined with the ceiling. We can see that by the outline going around properly. Now this is really important, not only because it looks nicer, but because then the quantities of all of the materials are going to be accurate. Now, if I just go here to level 2 annotation, find this section, and then let's just copy it. So I'm just going to copy it to go through the stair here, for example. Hit the escape key a couple of times, open that up, and then here, for example, we can see some issues. So in this new section, we can see issues where this wall isn't properly joined with the roof. So we would have to join that. Now here we can see that this has an issue, this here has an issue with the floor not being connected with the wall, so on and so forth. We can see that the stairs aren't connected properly. Here again we have an overlap that's not joined properly. So when you have a section and you clean it up, that's great, but that doesn't mean that you have fixed the entire model. You actually have to go through the entire model, create some additional sections, and then make sure you don't make mistakes like this or like this and so on. So have those additional sections just as working sections to make sure that everything is joined up properly. Moving forward to mistake number 3, and that's not properly hosting or locking elements. So for example, here we have this chair. If I select it, you can see that the host is set to level 2. That makes sense. This is on level 2, and that's where the chair is. However, what happens if we decide that this floor should be moved up a little bit above level 2? Let's say 100 millimeters above. Well, what will happen is basically this chair is going to be overlapping with that floor. So what you should do in this particular case is you should select the chair, make sure that you pick new host, and then select that floor. And now when we select the floor itself, move it up by 100 millimeters. As you can see, the chair is going to move up with it, not causing any overlaps or mistakes. Now, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a mistake. In all cases, it's really going to depend from project to project and from company to company exactly how you want to set things up. So make sure you check out what are the standards for the project or within your company, and then just follow that. But make sure that you are hosting elements on what they need to be hosted for that project. Mistake number 4 is using bad families. I see this all the time. People download families online and they just use it in a project, not really caring how they fit inside of that project. Here we can see 2 cars. This is a random car family that they found online. And what we can notice here is that this is simple dead geometry used from a different software, and it's quite noticeable. If we select this family, you can see we don't really have any special parameters. If we go to edit type, no special parameters here, so it's really not a good family. On the other hand, here is a car family from balkanarchitect.com. You can actually find it on the website, so the link is up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. We offer many cool families, elegant families like this. So not only does this look good, you can see even it has the interior, but here we have parameters. We can turn on the lights, we can make sure that the wheels are turning, there's wheel rotation. You can set up custom materials for different parts of the body, so on and so forth. So there is a lot of parameters that you can customize for this particular family. So make sure you're using correct high quality families. And again, this is something that you should check with your company. What are the families that should be used, and avoid just randomly downloading families online. Mistake number 5 that will get you fired is using the wrong family category. This is a big no-no. When you have a family in a project, make sure that the category is set up correctly. Now here we can see that for this desk, the category is set to generic models. That doesn't make any sense. This is furniture, so it should be labeled as such. So when you go here to edit family, you can set up the category here under family category and parameters. So I can just open this up, and instead of generic models, I can find furniture, click OK, and then I'm just going to load this into the project and close it. And I'm actually not going to save changes on this particular family. Override this, and now when I select it, it's set to furniture. If I create a furniture schedule, it will appear right now. Before, it wouldn't because it's the wrong category. Mistake number 6, and this is a big one, not using a correct naming convention. So if I go here to File and then Save As and save this project, here I can see that we have a project named Cool Project Final 4. I'm sure you have seen this in your career at some point. This is an absolute terrible mistake. Don't do this. You need to follow the naming convention set up for that particular project or inside of your company. So consult whoever is responsible for the naming convention or the document outlining the naming convention, and then follow that. This will just get you fired. Mistake number 7 that will get you fired is manually adjusting the graphics. So for example, here we have this floor plan. Let's say I want to highlight this wall for whatever reason. I can just right click, override graphics in view by element, and then I can set a cut pattern to solid fill, make it pink for whatever reason, and there we go. And this will get me fired. Well, just kidding, but in a lot of cases, this is a big mistake. So on most projects, you want to control the graphics of all of your views through view templates. So here on the view tab, we have the view templates. Here you can apply template properties to this current view. Here you can pick the template you want to use and then apply that here to the view. Alternatively, you can use view filters. So that's another option that we have over here, which is under filters. So here you can set up filters, and then you can go to visibility graphics overrides and add those filters. The reason why you want to use filters and view templates is because it's a great way to have consistent graphics across all of your views. So if you want to make a graphical change, you actually change the template or the view template that's been applied to that view. If you want to change the filter, then you change the filter and it applies to everywhere where that filter is assigned. It's a great way to have and maintain very strong control over the graphics in your project. So don't make this mistake. Sure, it can work on some smaller project or if you're just working on a project alone, but for any larger project or working within a team, make sure you're using view templates and filters. Mistake number 8 that will get you fired, and I did used to make this one to be honest, and that's importing CAD instead of linking it. So if you go here to insert and then go to import CAD, what that will do is it will actually bring a lot of unnecessary line styles and things that you don't really need inside of your project. It's going to make the project file a lot heavier, and it's going to remove any possibility of easily updating the CAD file within that project. So instead of going here to import CAD, make sure to go to link CAD unless you have a really good reason why you're importing instead of linking. Mistake number 9 that will definitely get you fired is not using shared parameters. So shared parameters are really important. Let me show you why. Here we have this fire extinguisher cabinet, and let's say I want to add an additional parameter here in the instance parameters. It's going to be a special parameter. Well, if I go here to edit family, and then go to parameters or family types. Here we have the parameters. I can create a new one, and I just go here with family parameter instead of a shared parameter. What will happen? I will call this one my special parameter. I will make it an instance parameter, and then we can make it a text parameter. There we go. Click OK. apply, OK, and now I can load this into the project and close it. I'm not going to save the changes here, override this, and now when I select this, here I can see my special parameter. Really nice. However, the issue arises when I go to create a schedule, for example. I create new schedule quantities. This is, I think, specialty equipment. Let's see, there we go. Click OK, and now here I'm looking for my special parameter and I'm not finding it. Where is it? Well, it's nowhere to be found because it's just a random family parameter that they have created and it's in no way shared with this project file. Also, if I wanted to tag that special parameter and have the value appear in a tag, well, I cannot do that either because it's not a shared parameter. So use shared parameters. I actually talk about these in my intermediate to advanced level course. It's available on balkanarchitect.com. I'm going to link that up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. Mistake number 10 that will get you fired is treating Revit like AutoCAD. So for example, I see people go and just make changes here by going to annotate and then using detail lines to add any sort of detail, and then if they want to tag that, instead of tagging they go with text and then they create a text which is just bad, and then they can perhaps add a line for that text or a leader and use that to perhaps explain some part of the project. This is a very bad approach. Revit is a BIM software and should be used as such. That means we're not drafting like in AutoCAD, we're not using simple text, we're creating families and we're using labels. This is a great way to retain all of that information and have a powerful model that can be used later on in all stages of project development. So that's going to wrap up these 10 mistakes that will definitely get you fired when it comes to working in Revit. I hope you learned these and I hope you don't make them in the future. Please tell me in the comment section below, have you ever made these mistakes and what are some that you see other people making that makes you infuriated. Also, if you want to get access to this Revit project file as well as all of my other Revit project files from these tutorials, it's all available on my Patreon page. Link is up in the cards above and also down in the description of this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.